Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again on a walk in the New Forest. Thanks for joining us. Today we're back at Lyndhurst, a village about 9 miles to the west of Southampton. Now we have done a walk around Lyndhurst before, but that was to the north of the village. Today we're going to be going to the south. It's a glorious winter's day, about 2 degrees, something like that. I think it's 26th, 27th of January. The sun is out, but there's not a lot of warmth, so we're going to have to keep walking to keep warm. I hope there's not a squirrel in there. Now we're going to be following a walk that's in the pocket pub walks in the New Forest by Anne-Marie Edwards. So I'll pop a copy of the map up on screen for you. Are you ready? He's ready. Let's go. Well, we're starting our walk on the south side of Lyndhurst, right by a place called Bolton'S Bench, which is behind me over my left shoulder. It's one of those sort of iconic pictures that you see on postcards from the New Forest. So let me just pan round so that you can see what I'm looking at. So it's called Bolton'S Bench, named after the Duke of Bolton, who was Lord Warden of the forest in 1688. No one's 100% sure what he did that was special from any other warden, but it's actually a natural knoll. It's not man-made. But now I have a story to tell you. There is a legend of a dragon called the Biston Dragon. Now bear with me on this. This dragon lived not far away at Burley, to the east of us, on top of an old Iron Age hill fort actually, and every day this dragon used to fly to the village of Biston, which is near Ringwood, and he used to insist on either having milk, mutton or a maiden. Well, naturally the villagers of Biston weren't very happy about this, so they asked a local knight called Maurice de Berkeley to see if he could get rid of the dragon, which he duly did. There was a big battle between the dragon and the knight and his 2 dogs. I'm pleased to say the knight won. The dragon made it all the way back to this area here where it died, and his body became the knoll. There is a sad end to the story, I'm afraid. Both the dogs died in the battle and they were buried here, and Sir Maurice himself, after 30 days and 30 nights, he couldn't cope with it all, and he came back here and he too died at this very spot. And as he died, he dropped his bow, which was made of yew, and that eventually sprouted into these yew trees. Obviously there's no truth to that story, but I expect somewhere in the distant past there might have been a wild boar or something out here, and a chap was probably asked to go out and dispatch it with his 2 dogs, and somewhere along the way the story got a bit out of control. But there we go, that's the story of the Biston Dragon. We're heading south from Bolton'S Bench. I'm just passing a very sweet little cricket pitch. As you can see, it's surrounded by portable fencing to keep the ponies off. And then, how about this for a pavilion? Isn't that lovely? A thatch roof. I believe it's 100, 120 years old, something like that. Home of Lyndhurst and Ashurst Cricket Club. And apparently, a couple of years ago, the club reinstated an annual fixture with the Gentlemen of Lyndhurst 11, some 100 years after the fixture was first played. A lovely setting. I imagine coming back here and watching cricket in the summer must be lovely. A little chilly. It was quite a wind today. Wow, how about this for a water trough then? Made out of stone, built in 1902, as you can see. And there is a, oh yeah, there is a plaque. I'll see if I can put that on screen for you. AMDG. Well, I wonder if that stands for Ad Mariam de Gloriam or something like that, for the greater glory of God. I imagine that's what it is. Obviously built for the ponies. Where you can probably hear the traffic. That's the road out of Lyndhurst going south. We're now making our way through what looks like an old disused sand pit, and as you can see, Logan wants to get on with things. Go on, lad, pull your old dad up. Go on, nearly there. I'm continuing my way across the top of a ridge, and I'll explain more about the ridge shortly, but I'm just looking back north. I just want to show you the view from here, because if you do come here you might wonder what some of these buildings are. The white building in the far distance on the right is Northerwood House, built possibly 1780s, something like that, once visited by King George III in 1789, who gave it the name Mount Royal. But in the 1970s it was converted to flats. But I imagine you should get some great views from up there. And then to the left you can see the spire of St Michael's and All Saints. And if you're interested in that, when we did our first walk at Lyndhurst, we did a little bit of filming inside there, and there's a very famous grave in the churchyard. I won't give it away in case it spoils you looking at the video, but do check it out if you're interested. Well, we're certainly getting some beautiful views from up here on this ridge. I'll just pan around to show you. That's looking east over to White Moor. Amazing thing, back in the First World War there was an army camp based here. Thousands of troops were camped here before embarking to the front, and some 15,000 men of the immortal 7th Division that were based both here and on the old racecourse site to the north of the village, they left here, sailed to France and then on to Belgium, and 3 weeks after going into action at Ypres, only 2,380 were still alive. We've now made our way off the ridge. Hopefully it won't be quite so windy now, and we're going to do a slightly different route to the one that is in the book. The route that Anne-Marie suggested will actually take us through quite a muddy area, so we're going to go straight into something called the Pondhead Inclosure. And what's slightly different about this enclosure is that it's been enclosed for nearly a couple of centuries at least, and so there'd be no deer or ponies allowed to come in here and graze and what have you. And as a result of that, you get some slightly rarer flora and butterflies that you might not see in other parts of the forest. I've just come across a little plaque which just explains that the area is carefully sustained by coppicing. And indeed, if I pan round, you can see over here where somebody has started to make a fence. The area around here is obviously it's Crown land, but it's been run by a conservation trust since about 2014. Well, how about this? Isn't that lovely? Now, that might struggle to carry my weight, but in fact all along here you can see where they've used the old skills for making fencing using the wood. Well, again, more coppicing and fencing, and there's even a little information board here which tells us a little bit more about how they go about coppicing and the reasoning behind it. But, and there we go, there's a gate by the looks of things. I was just about to say how lovely and peaceful it was in here until that siren went off. Ooh. Now, what have we got here, Logan? Oh no, more dragons. Oh, I've got a little plaque here. It's more about the Biston dragon. Now this, apparently, is a relative. Oh, he looks fierce, doesn't he? I don't think Logan's too sure about this. Wow. Well, that's different. Another plaque to look at. Right, this is William's Copse, 900 sessile, I think that's how you pronounce it, oaks, planted here in 1979 to commemorate the creation of the New Forest by William I, or William the Conqueror is probably better known, in 1079. And there it is in the background. Well, we're nearly at the end of our walk, nearly back to the car, but I just wanted to show you something as a lovely little cemetery, and with a very sweet little chapel called St Margaret's Chapel, which was built in the 19th century. And what I wanted to show you were just to the side of the entrance, this, well, it looks like a boulder on top of a plinth, but there's a couple of plaques which I just wanted to show you. The top one is in honour of Captain Arthur Phillip, RN, former resident of Lyndhurst, and it commemorates the bicentenary of his appointment as the first governor of New South Wales in Australia on the 12th of August 1786. And then below, on the plinth, this is a bit of sandstone from the Gateway Plaza, a site at Sydney Cove, where nearby on the 26th of January 1788 Governor Phillip came to establish the new colony, which was New South Wales, which was obviously it was a convict settlement, I believe. And of course 26th of January is now Australia Day. I've noticed the door's open. Should we have a look inside? Come on. I don't know what the light's going to be like inside here. I'm not expecting it to be too big. And there we go, just a sweet little altar, and somewhere to come and contemplate if you're visiting the graves at the cemetery. Well folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully the wind wasn't too bad on the audio. If you did, please give us a like, do comment, and obviously do subscribe, so you'll be able to join us for some more walks sometime in the future. Now, there are plenty of tea rooms in Lyndhurst. We're going to go to Peggy May's cafe, which is in the high street. It's very dog friendly, and it does a very good bacon and egg on toast. So we're off there. Once again, thanks for joining us, and cheerio.